Oh, yes, it is. It's the weekly stock market update. Here we go, right into it. Now, what have we got in terms of valuations? It's expensive. You're paying $33 for $1 of Microsoft profit. My God, for Amazon, you're paying $312 for $1 of profit. But you seem happy enough to do it because you know it's going to grow, and its earnings recently seem to prove that. The energy and bank stocks are being neglected. How about performance over the past week? Not really that great, is it? There's a bit of green. It's all a bit mix and match kind of thing. It's as ugly as my mother-in-law's duvet. So what about this then? This is price earnings growth ratio, which again doesn't show many areas where there's good value. We will get to banks in a second. Let's look at the bellwether stocks and how some of the stocks that are indicative of the broader market are doing. Well, the good news is on the Nasdaq, you're still up about 40%. So I've got clients who have been following me for their pensions, and of course, some are doing as well as that. Some are doing more better than that, and others are doing as well as the S&P, all of which is rather good. I can't take credit for that, of course, no matter how narcissistic I am, because the credit has to go to the tailwinds from the markets. If there's tailwinds, we'll do better. If there's headwinds, we won't fall as far as the market, and we might even go to cash as we had to do for most of last year. S&P 500, now this is the warning sign. That's the danger sign right there. Things a little bit overbought. And a few sales. So what does that mean? How far could that drop? Well, for the clue, we go down. We look at the monthly MACD, which is the blue dotted line, and that seems it's fine on a rip, but that can be a bit slow. So we also look at the weekly MACD, and beneath that, the monthly and weekly stochastics, and both looking overbought. However, what that tells me is I don't need to panic. Yes, I expect some falls. It might even go as low as that, which I doubt, but I think we will continue higher in due course. Now, August tends not to be too bad, more likely to be up than down. September isn't good. So if you pack in August and September, you might say, screw that, Alpesh, I'll just wait till October. You know, sell in May, go away kind of thing. I'll just wait till October and come back to it then. I wouldn't do that. I don't tend to trade my investments. Turn that down, mate. You've got too many people in the office. Shut up. Okay, here we go. Back to the S&P. And what we see is, yeah, I'm happy to wait. I'm happy to wait. Like I said, happy to wait on that one. The FTSE 100 likely to go lower, though the depreciation in the pound might see more pound-denominated profits go up, especially if they're earning in dollars, and therefore that could give some buoyancy to the FTSE 100. I doubt it. That's the angle I'm looking at over there. Now we're going to look at the individual stocks, okay, the bellwether stocks. Let's get into some of those. Apple, ouch. Apple, ouch. Okay, what do you see here? All right, you see that fall. Now, the monthly is still probably going to do this, but I'm a bit worried that the weekly could fall. If it does, we'll have to revisit this and decide whether we do get out for a while and buy back cheaper. And what you see with the stochastic is it's starting to fall off as well. So I am expecting continued falls in this. I wouldn't buy more of it now, but because I don't trade my investments, I'm holding on to it. If I was risk averse, I'd probably sell between 10 to 100% of it. If, like me, I'm risk neutral and risk loving, I'll just hold on for a bit longer. This is what the analysts think. They think it's well priced. The current price and the average of what the analysts think means there's only about a 2% difference on that one. Okay, Alphabet. Here we go. That's the direction I'm looking at. And of course, you can see over here what the banks think. You can see here how it tends to do in August. You might actually want to just leave it in August and in September and just wait till October. Nevertheless, it is falling a little bit. I'm not going to trade those investments. Same rules apply. Not trading the investments. Can see that it might fall a little bit. Won't panic. We'll keep an eye on it through these weekly updates. Would I buy more today? Not today, but if I was risk averse, I'd sell between 10 to 100% of it. But because I'm risk neutral to risk loving, I'll just hold and wait and watch. Okay, that's what the analysts think on that one. Microsoft, again, coming off a bit. If you're risk averse, you panic and you go into cash. However, if you're more risk neutral, risk loving, you just say to yourself, well, I'll just keep an eye on it. Do expect some of the profit taking to happen. As you're seeing this across all of the techs and that, and you can see what happens. And some of them will lead the way more than others. Certainly the banks are telling you what to do. They're saying just keep hold of it. And by the way, August, September, October, November, they all tend to be quite good months for Microsoft in any event. And the analysts think are 20% more to the upside. So again, those bellwethers are doing okay. How about this? Ooh, a bit flatter. Now, with the clients on my program, they've not just got these bellwethers, of course, they've got 15 other stocks to try and give them similar kind of and diversified returns. And that's critical. Don't just put all your money in these eggs, of course, even though they like it. And so with this, again, holding, waiting, same strategy as with the others. I'm not having to do anything different. Now, Disney shows, what a pain in the arse that can be. It also shows August tends to be pretty bad for it, so don't expect any great miracle in August. I do expect by the end of the year for it to do better. Why didn't I just buy it then? Probably should have done. But this just shows I don't just want to have tech companies. I'm happy just holding on to it for now. The analysts certainly think it's got more upside. Remember, on my based on my program on a value, growth, income, cash flow, I'll get to NVIDIA in a second, on a value, growth, income, cash flow basis, these are all ticking those boxes as well. So what about NVIDIA? Risk averse, you get out 100%. Risk loving, you might get out between 10 to 100%, depending on your risk appetite, because you think, has it got more to go? Me, I'm just holding on and watching. Would I buy more at this point? No, not yet. Not yet. There might be time, but not yet. Tesla, similar kind of story, but more volatile. This is one of our special situations. And of course, since January, the start of the year, done incredibly well for us. Again, it tends to do those waves. It tends to go down before going up. So we'll keep a very, very close eye on it for you. And by the way, advance warning, September and October tend to be absolutely dreadful for Tesla. Maybe because of figures coming out, maybe when people buy cars and all the rest of it. So if you are risk averse and you are thinking, you know, I've done quite well, Alpesh, thank you very much, you're welcome, since the start of the year, you might determine your risk aversion based on how the MACD is doing, and also on, maybe you might even look at that and say you want to get out. But that's up to you. I can only know in hindsight what we should do, which is not very useful. But all I can do at this stage is tell you what you should do based on your risk appetite. Well, that's still going in that direction. And it is now starting to look a bit overbought. Not quite yet turned and falling. That's when we'd want to call the peak, even if on the weekly stochastic it is starting to fall. I think there's still more upside, so I'm going to keep hold of it. And in any event, August tends to be a rather good month for it as well. And all these analysts are telling us what to do on that direction. Hopefully you found that useful. ServiceNow's come off a bit. I'm expecting it to continue back up once it's had a bit of a breather. You can see what the technicals are doing, and it will almost certainly come back up as well, but it's had a few days where it hasn't. Anyway, those are just a few of the stocks. Have a look at my great investments program. Have a look at my campaign for $1 million. Basically, the campaign for $1 million is to make 1 million millionaires through teaching them investing. It might take the rest of my life to do it, and it'll take their lifetime in which to earn that million. But basically the idea is if they learn to invest, they learn some of the things that I'm teaching them, then what should happen as a result is over the course of their life, they'll become millionaires. You might say, well, if they start off with 900,000, you'd expect it. But you know what I mean. Let's say turning 100,000 into 1 million, and got to get them first to 100,000. But get that education. For some of them, it might take 30 years. For others, it might just take 1 year. But yeah, I want to try and create 1 million millionaires. And you might say, why? Well, it's a useful thing to have said you've done on your deathbed. So it's purely for selfish reasons. It'll just make me feel better about myself, because God knows my double chins don't. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed all of this and you learned something, and you might even have sniggered and laughed at some point as well. If you did, leave a comment. Thank you.